Hello, friends. Welcome to our Fresh Trails. Today, we're talking about co-creation.
What does it actually mean? Can I truly achieve what I desire the most? And how does the process work? Join us as we find out. We hear this term tossed around a lot, usually sounding deeply mystical or like some sort of unattainable magic trick. But in this explainer, we're going to completely demystify the whole thing. We're looking at the actual mechanics of the mind. It's not magic, guys. It's a very practical, step-by-step process. Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today. Think of this as your highly practical mechanics manual to reality. We're going to cover 1, the reality interface, 2, the descent ladder, 3, the identity thermostat, 4, protective stories, 5, the everyday toolbox, and finally, 6, sovereignty. Let's get to it. Section 1, the reality interface. Mechanics, not magic. Let's kick things off by stepping away from those esoteric woo-woo concepts for a minute and instead look at the human mind as a highly practical operating dashboard. Think of a television transmission tower for a second. A TV station broadcasts a specific frequency, right? And your television set receives it, turning those invisible waves into the physical images you're watching on the screen. Well, your mind operates exactly like this. It's the interface between invisible energy and physical matter. The key concept to grasp here is that you don't simply attract what you want. Nope. Instead, you sustain the reality that is coherent with who you actually believe you are. Basically, your internal frequency dictates the exact channel your life is tuned to. Section 2, the descent ladder, sequence of manifestation. Let's move to and see how this builds. You see, absolutely everything created in this world follows a specific, logical downward path from an invisible idea right into physical reality. We call this the descent ladder. So here is the engine of co-creation broken down. First up, thought initiates. This is your initial command. It gathers energy and gives a rough shape to your idea. But a thought alone is going to easily disperse if it isn't fueled. That's where step 2 comes in. Emotion sustains. Emotion acts as the magnetic charge, the fuel that keeps the idea organized and alive. Finally, step 3. Action materializes. For any vision to become real, that consciousness has to be felt in your physical body through actual grounded practice. I mean, you can't just think about building a house. Eventually, you literally have to pick up a hammer. Section 3, the identity thermostat. Why visualizations fail. Okay, so if the sequence is so simple, why do our grand visualizations and daydreaming sessions often fall completely flat? Let's talk about the major roadblocks we face in this process. Take a look at this comparison on the screen. We so often confuse our daydreams with our actual identity. Imagine a really hot, humid day, the kind of heavy tropical heat we're all familiar with. You walk into a room with the air conditioning set perfectly to 22 degrees. Now, if you open a window, that hot air rushes in, but what happens? The thermostat immediately kicks the machine into overdrive to bring the room back down to its set 22 degrees. Well, your self-image is that exact thermostat. No matter how much you fantasize about wealth or success, if your core identity is set to struggle, your mind will always find a way to cool things back down to that familiar reality. Real co-creation means shifting your base temperature. Section 4, the stories we tell, narratives and justifications. This brings us perfectly to our next roadblock. How exactly do we keep our thermostat stuck at the wrong temperature? Well, we do it through the subtle, repetitive internal stories we tell ourselves every single day. We tend to cling to these protective narratives. Sometimes we actually self-sabotage just to maintain our social standing within our community or our extended family. You know the feeling. We don't want to outshine others, or we want to avoid the pressure of standing out, so we tell ourselves a story that keeps us small. These are called secondary gains. We might complain about our situation, but subconsciously, the situation gives us a convenient excuse to avoid taking responsibility. We use these little stories as a shield to maintain our old realities and entirely avoid facing the root causes of our habits. Section 5, practical tools for everyday life. All right, now that we know how the engine works and what the roadblocks are, it's time to shift gears. Let's open up our practical toolbox and look at how to properly align our mind and body through everyday resourceful actions. The thing is, co-creation is not about giant, dramatic leaps that happen overnight. Not at all. It requires walking step by step. You have to build a dream piece by piece, starting with the simplest, most grounded basics. You have to prove to your reality interface that you are actually serious. And this brilliantly illustrates what we call the brick rule. Let's say your grand vision is to build a beautiful home for your family, but you don't have the money for the whole house right now. What do? You go out to the hardware store and you buy a single hollow block. Just one, or maybe 3 or 4. By taking this highly resourceful micro action, you move the energy. You prove to your mind and your body that the process has officially begun. You are no longer just dreaming, you are building. Let's detail the rest of this amazing toolbox. First up, celebrate small wins with immense gratitude. This teaches your mind to notice abundance. Second is the 90-day calibration. Pick one single principle, something like I am capable, and hold it silently for 90 days without bragging about it to anyone. Let it reorganize your internal field. Third is the sacred void. When you're faced with an unsolvable problem, sometimes surrendering to silence is the most powerful posture to let new solutions arrive. Fourth, anchor in a state of presence. Dwelling on the past or future only produces anxiety. Only action in the present moment yields results. And finally, a simple 7-minute meditation. Just sit in silence for 7 minutes a day, perhaps early in the morning before the rest of the busy household wakes up. If your mind wanders, just gently say, "This doesn't need my attention right now," and return to the present.
Section 6. Sovereignty and the seat of origin. Now, none of these tools will work if you don't take radical personal responsibility for your own reality. We call this claiming your sovereignty. True co-creation requires you to operate from what is known as the seat of origin. This is your internal point of authority. It's that exact place inside you where you stop looking to the external world, your peers, or your circumstances for permission, and you start giving direct orders to your own life. You become the author of the script. So the crucial point is this: you must actively withdraw your consent. Co-creating involves pulling your attention away from the realities, the community drama, the gossip, and the negativity you no longer want to participate in. If you're constantly focused on what you hate, you're literally fueling it. Remember the golden rule of the reality interface: where focus goes, energy flows. You have to starve the old reality by withdrawing your attention from it. To summarize this incredibly powerful process, just look at these 3 steps. Think about what you want to initiate the command. Feel the creation happening with gratitude to sustain that magnetic charge. And take small actions to actually materialize it. We call it co-creation because it isn't just a random gift dropping out of the sky from the universe while you sit on the couch. It's a process where you actively participate, moving and multiplying energy step by step. I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to ponder today. Look at your current life, your habits, your daily outcomes. What temperature is your reality thermostat set to right now? And what about you? Did you already know about this process and these techniques to modify your reality? Leave your thoughts in the comments and share this video with someone who might need it. Gratitude for your company, and see you next time.